Welcome to the Montage videos, and today we're going to talk about expatriate taxation. Before we do that, we're going to first touch on who is Montage Services. We're a professional service organization made up of CPAs and lawyers who assist organizations worldwide. We have offices here in San Francisco and Houston, as well as in London, Toronto, and Germany. The topic today, expatriate taxation, is one that applies primarily to U.S. individuals who are living outside the United States. The opposite of that is called inbound or inpatriate tax services, and that is when foreigners come to the United States and live here and have to deal with our U.S. tax system. So today's topic is expatriates, or U.S. citizens or green card holders living outside the United States. Because of the U.S. system being a worldwide tax system, once you move outside of the United States or reside outside of the U.S., you still have to file and pay U.S. taxes. However, our system has certain exemptions as well as tax relief so that there's not double tax paid. One of those exclusions or exemptions that is allowed for taxpayers who are living abroad is known as the foreign earned income exclusion. The amount of that changes from year to year based on the pay scale of our military, but right now it is approximately $90,000. So what that means is if a U.S. citizen or green card holder is living outside the United States, they will be able to deduct, they have to report their total salary income, but then deduct up to $90,000 US in order to arrive at their U.S. taxable income base. How do you qualify for this foreign earned income exclusion? One of two ways. The first way is to be a so-called bona fide resident of a foreign jurisdiction. That means that you've gone to the foreign authorities, registered with the foreign country, and are in their system as a bona fide resident. And usually there's some paperwork associated with that. The other is to meet the so-called physical presence test. That physical presence test is spending 330 days out of 365-day period outside of the United States. The proof of that is generally with a passport, but there are certain rules as days in and out based on travel dates. That 365-day period can start any time during the year, so it is something that you would need to keep track of. The other method that the U.S. provides for excluding double taxation is the foreign tax credit. The foreign tax credit is a dollar-for-dollar reduction of U.S. tax based on what a U.S. resident or citizen has paid to another country. Most people who move abroad are residing in a state where they're paying individual state tax. And the question that comes up is, at what point have they broken residency with that state, and can they stop filing in the state? If you have an employment contract for greater than 2 years, then that in itself says that you can break residency with a state. You can still have to file in a state if you have a home and are renting it out, but that doesn't mean that you have to pay tax as a resident. You may be paying tax as a non-resident. The United States has tax treaties with many countries, and in those countries that we have tax treaties, almost all of them have what's known as a 183-day rule. 183 days comes out to be 6 months. So what it says is that if you're living in a country for less than 6 months and still getting paid by the other jurisdiction, you do not need to pay tax in the country that you're living in for less than 6 months. It also alleviates tax in that first year of residency because it may be that you arrive in, say, August or September, and if the country you're going to is on a calendar year reporting basis, it means you do not need to file a tax return in that country for that first period of the year. Bank account reporting. If you're a U.S. citizen or green card holder, there is a requirement to file a form with the Treasury Department disclosing that you have foreign bank accounts or you have signatory authority on foreign bank accounts. The penalty for not doing this is $10,000. But more importantly, if you don't do it, there is criminal penalties that can be assessed. The form currently has moved away from being a paper form and is now filed online. That new online filing has taken effect for the year 2014 for calendar year 2013. And the due date of that filing is June 30th of 2014 for the prior calendar year. Some other important due dates. Most individuals know that the April 15th is the due date for a tax return. However, if you're residing abroad, that is extended to June 15th. And all you need to do is on the top of the tax return say, taxpayer residing abroad. The other due date, as we mentioned, was the June 30th for this foreign financial reporting of your foreign bank account. And then finally, you can extend the individual return all the way out to October 15th, but that does not extend the time to pay your taxes. One of the most common questions we get is, I've been living abroad for a number of years, and at one point heard about this foreign earned income exclusion, so I figured I didn't need to file because there was no tax due. Or, I'm a green card holder, I've moved back to my home country, and I really don't feel like I need to file a U.S. tax return. Question is, what does it mean for not filing a U.S. tax return? The only exception to filing a U.S. tax return is if the gross income earned by an individual is less than $600 US. If you earn more than $600 US, you are required to file a U.S. tax return. Non-filing is a criminal offense. A criminal offense takes on a lot of repercussions. So there is no quick and easy answer to this. There are times when a taxpayer, not knowing the rules, has not filed a tax return. There are other times, however, when people know they should be filing tax returns and they haven't. And it's that whole range in between which is very difficult to say one way or another as to what we would recommend. But certainly if you haven't filed a tax return and you think you may have a requirement to do so, it is best to talk to an advisor such as ourselves. We are Montage Services, and you can feel free to reach us either on the web or by giving us a call, and we can walk you through what the requirements are for both expatriate taxation as well as the other individual tax matters that might come up with filing responsibilities while living abroad.